Everybody, I assume everybody's going to think I'm going in a particular direction with this opening metaphor. So I warn you right now, the direction you believe that I'm going in, I'm not, unless I misunderstand the situation. Anyway, the name of the sermon is Pacing the Cage. So, this is a true story. Apparently, a tiger was re-released into the wilderness. The zoo was closed for some particular reason or another, and they decided to take the tiger back to the jungle, let him out, which of course they did, and the poor tiger, all his life he was in a cage, and he paced 30 feet back, 30 feet forward, 30 feet back, 30 feet forward, and that's when he went to the jungle, that's what he'd do, okay? 30 feet or 28 feet or whatever the cage was, that was exactly how many paces he took in the wilderness, and this was not a good idea. Obviously, the tiger was going to die, so what they did was they took the tiger and brought him back to another zoo. But, okay, let me give you a scenario here. How do you think the tiger, and when I say tiger, you know I mean people or person, how do you think this tiger would feel about the person who let him free, who opened the cage, who gave him his freedom, and he could not embrace, the tiger could not embrace his freedom? Quite possibly, if this tiger were a human, I would say this tiger would despise the person who gave him the freedom, because every time he sees that person, he would be reminded of his flaws. You know? Every time, I remember once there was this particular gentleman at Sela, and he was all messed up over one thing or another, and he wanted to talk to me. And we went for a walk, and he confessed to me, this is back in 1990, I believe, when homosexuality was far more of an issue back then. And he confessed to me that he was gay. And I said, well, okay, that's fine, and, you know, que sera, sera, and, you know, you're gay and I'm not, and life's okay. But every time I saw that person, he came to Sela for like 3 or 4 months after that before he left. Every time he would look at me with hatred in his eyes. And the reason was quite simple, because every time he looked at me, he saw what he perceived to be his vulnerability. And I think, to be honest with you, I think the guy wanted to kill me. How does this happen? Dynamics. Number one, we are caged. You and I, hopefully we're not terribly caged at this point in our lives, but at one point or another, we were completely and unequivocally caged. Number two, we are set free. The Bible says, he who the Son sets free is free indeed. God sets us free. Number three, now that we are free, we can display our insanity. Okay, this is the thing about most cages. Like church is a cage. You go to church, most churches, every church that I'm aware of, basically you have to behave in a very narrow way, and this is a cage, and you're safe in that cage. But this is why, you know, people find it very difficult to just develop and live in true community, because it's no longer some little fucking cage you have where you can be comfortable. You are exposed, you are vulnerable, you are naked, you are real, right? Which opens the door for a whole lot of issues. So, number one, we are caged. Number two, we are set free. Number three, now that we are free, we can display our insanity, our fucked upness. Number four, we are now officially on the road to self-destruction. Number five, we blame the one who set us free. Why do we blame the one who set us free? Well, it's very simple. It's pride and arrogance. Okay, not that there's not other dynamics involved. I will tell you this, being in my position essentially since give or take September 1986, I've seen a lot of people come to a place where they were actually allowed to be free, to display themselves, to be true, to be real. I was meditating today on the word intimacy. And I was thinking, what is intimacy? And intimacy is a very, very easy thing to define. It's just being honest. You know, there's sexual intimacy, which is completely different, sort of, kind of. But intimacy, all that intimacy is just being real. And like we have this thing, this idiom, this energy centered around the term intimacy. Like it's some miraculous thing. No, man. It's not miraculous at all. What's miraculous is how we fuck things up. It's pretty incredible. What's miraculous is how we are living in a world that basically is non-intimate. But intimacy itself, it's simple. It's just saying what you really think and allowing that to perpetuate and develop a relationship with another human being. And hopefully they do the same thing to you. You know, it's funny how these little tiny things, essentially intimacy should be just a small little piece of the pie. But we make it this huge thing because of our lack of intimacy. They did a survey not too many years ago, and the survey was with men. And they asked the men what they lacked in their lives. And the main conclusion they arrived at is men lack, and this is what the men said, they lack intimacy with another man. They wanted intimacy with another man, real communication, and I will guarantee you, though they want this, though they desire this, when push comes to shove, they're not going to take it. In fact, if most people, you know this as well as I know this, if they were to come in here and sit down and take in a service, they would not like it. You know? Because basically this whole thing, it's based on love, it's based on trust, it's based on intimacy. All these things have become foreigners in a strange land. And they threaten people. Do you know what threatens people? People are not that bright, okay? They're not like Cocker Spaniels, you know? What threatens people is something that's different. And because we are in a world without intimacy, without love, without vulnerability, when these things are seen by other people, they get scared and they attack. It has nothing to do with what's going on. They don't give a fuck about what's going on within reason. However, they do care when something is foreign to them. Foreign means bad. Foreign means afraid. Afraid means attack. People aren't bad, man. There's very few bad people in this world. There's very few good people in this world. What people are is lost. And what people are is more than willing to respond in any fucked up way possible to just about anything. All that has to happen is it has to be a little bit different. Dynamics, we are caged, number 2. We are set free, number 3. Now we are free, we can display our insanity, which can be a beautiful, beautiful thing, you know. Displaying our neuroses. Chantel and I had a conversation yesterday, and I went away thinking, it's like, my God, man. You know, it only takes one person to come in the Sela to fuck it up. All we need is one person who we cannot trust, and we've seen this. And then suddenly the complexion of the entire ministry is changed. You know, should that make us afraid and paranoid? No. I will tell you this. The moment that you become afraid and paranoid, the very thing you're trying to make sure does not happen will happen. Okay. The thing about fear and paranoia is basically they are manifestations of darkness. And what happens when we have manifestations of darkness? Well, we have darkness. Okay, that makes sense, right? What happens when we have darkness? Well, we can't see because it's darkness. Okay, what does that mean? It means when someone comes in here, we will not be able to see what's going on. You know, to love the person. You know, anytime I love someone, I truly love them. You begin to see. Your eyes are open. It's truly spiritual. It's love. Love sees all things. Number 1, we are caged. Number 2, we are set free. Number 3, we are free. We can display our insanity. Number 4, road to self-destruction. Number 5, blame someone who sets us, blame the one who sets us free. Number 6, what do we do? As I just suggested, attack. How do we attack? We attack with slander. We attack with violence. We attack with rejection. And number 7, finally, go back to the cage and pretend that you didn't. I think the saddest thing about people who are let out of the cage, the proverbial cage, is not that they go back, and most will. Okay? It's a scary world. Vulnerability is scary. Like, this is, in the words of my beloved Joni Mitchell, my favorite female songwriter, it's a dog-eat-dog world. And people know this. And this is one of the reasons why vulnerability and intimacy and transparency and other such things are shunned. Like, my God, man, it's a horrible pterodactyl, brontosaurus, triceratops, Tyrannosaurus Rex motherfucking world out there. It's the land of the lost. It's a land of dinosaurs. And to be what is this vulnerability and intimacy thing in a land that's so hostile, that wants to chew you up and spit you out? Okay, you know something? I respect anybody who does not want to be vulnerable and will say it in those terms. What pisses me off is that people will not say it in those terms. They will just change the definitions of words and make it look like they're being vulnerable. That's why they have church. That's another reason why they have church. Because you're being spiritual. You're being intimate. You have community. Bull fucking shit. You start talking about who and what you are, do it. Okay? Go to any of these things tomorrow morning, and when they have a sharing time, and a lot of them do, say what you really motherfucking think. And see where it gets you. Okay? But they won't admit that. They won't admit this is a horrible, terrible world and everybody is out to eat and devour everybody else. They won't say that. They'll just make up some bullshit story. Just be honest and then we can walk away. Point being, I understand why people do not want vulnerability and intimacy. I understand why people walk back into the cage. But the scenario is this. You will be missing out on the very thing you are created for. And this is another thing that's coming to me in prayer recently is well, why are we created? Why did God do this? Well, it should be pretty obvious. Like, why would there be something spooky going on? And there isn't. We are here to connect with each other. We are here to survive those who we attempt to connect with and they spit on us. We are here to forgive those people. We are here to have intimate relationship. What else could there possibly be in life for us to have? There's nothing. There's nothing. You know? Find yourself $100,000 and blow it on shit. Tell me what that does for you, how that makes you feel. Does it fulfill you? It will not. It's very obvious. We are here for each other. And if there's something going on, I don't know what it is. Besides that, I don't know what it is, and I don't think God does either. Where's my juice? People don't like taking responsibility. And when I say that, what I'm talking about is in regards to the cage. How do we deal? How are we supposed to deal with the cage scenario? 7 dynamics here. Number 1, we are caged, right? Number 2, we are set free. Number 3, our freedom goes to hell. Number 4, road to self-destruction. Okay. Number 5, now we take, instead of not taking responsibility, we take responsibility. The guy who let you out, probably the guy who let you out, all those ex-SEALA people out there, if I fucked up, I'll tell you this, I didn't try to fuck up. Every one of you people who are out there, all the hundreds of you, I tried my best to love you. And when I opened the cage, by God's mercy, and let you meander around, that was with the best intentions. And I'm sorry it went to shit. But it doesn't even matter if I'm the Antichrist. I could be the most miserable motherfucker on this planet. I could have concocted this in my mind, and all I'm trying to do is fuck you up. I'll say 400 or 500 people that have attended SEALA over the years. Even if I tried to screw your heads up, and that was my sole motivation, the fact of the matter is we are where we are in this world, and we have to take responsibility for it ourselves. You know, I was raised when I was 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old. I thought my dad was going to kill me in the basement. He called me in his little office and he had this stick with a nail in it and he threatened to kill me. Okay, and it got worse than that. And God bless him. I love him. He's dead. But I could lay down on the side of the road and say, I was an abused child. Fuck it. I do not have to do anything. I have a little ticket that says I was abused, therefore I can sit on my motherfucking ass for the rest of my life and accomplish nothing. Yeah. It's your life, man. We got to take responsibility for our own lives. It doesn't matter what's been done to us. Okay, we have to move on. We have a generation, we have a universe, we have a world where people define themselves by what has been done to them. And I'm really sad that horrible things have been done to really sweet people. But the fact of the matter is, if we don't take responsibility for it by ourselves, for ourselves, we will have a horrible life. We are caged. Number 2, we are set free. Number 3, our freedom goes to hell. Number 4, the road to self-destruction. Number 5, we take responsibility. Number 6, deal with our situation. How do we deal with our situation? How do we deal with the fact that we were let out of a cage and now we're still going back 30 feet? How do we deal with this? Well, we deal with it with prayer. We deal with love. We deal with forgiveness, okay? Prayer, love, forgiveness. These things can change our situations. These things can broaden our universe. And if they don't, at least they can lead us into a place where we've let go of our past and we are no longer. I do not want anyone to define me, man. You know? I want to be defined by what I'm supposed to be. Not like there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people over the years that have tried to put me in a box and define me and tell me that I was a piece of shit. And, you know, I don't even know who most of these people were. Number 7. See where life will take you. And if it takes you back to your cage, don't pretend it isn't the cage. When the cage is open and you are set free and you can move back 30 feet each way and that's it, we'll keep on doing it until you can eventually move 31 and then 32. Or maybe you're outside that cage and you get attacked by another animal and you get killed. Okay, that's okay too. You know, fuck it, we all die. At least you tried. Okay? Life isn't so much about how much we accomplish. Some people can accomplish so much, and they're such amazing people. And some people can accomplish so little. And it doesn't matter how much you accomplish or how much you don't accomplish. What matters is you're fucking trying. That you tried your best. It's very simple. You know, the most intense, brilliant spiritual dynamics come down to very, 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 very simple concepts. You know, try your best. So the cage is open. And you're thinking, why did that motherfucker do this to me? Why? The answer is why not? You have an opportunity. One of my favorite movies, Shawshank Redemption. I think it's the last sentence in the movie. You can get busy living or get busy dying. The door's open, run for it. The fucker might come back and change his mind, right? Run for it and see what happens. Amen.